Okay, so for next class, or sorry, for next, I think it's next Wednesday on your syllabus, Vectorworks Assignment 2 is due. Vectorworks Assignment 2 is terribly difficult. You must print out, and you actually have to print it, you need to have a copy, the set for either Act 1 or Act 2, or both, depending on how far you're planning on getting in class that day, to do an exercise in class. Okay? This accomplishes two things. One, to make sure you can actually print the set and do some adjustments to it that you may need to do, and it gives you the materials you're going to need to do your class exercise that day. Okay, so we looked at this a little bit last time. We have the Move Page tool. If you're not seeing the Move Page tool, it's because it's hiding under the Pan tool, which is the tool that looks like a little hand. It's got that little arrow next to it. That means that there's more tools hiding underneath. If you click and hold, it will show you what's hiding. And the Move Page tool is what we're looking for. Okay. And the Move Page tool, the page is kind of hard to see because it goes to super, super gray when it's not being moved around. So if you just click and drag, you can see it's that box with the X in it. That is a piece of paper. And that's going to show you what can print out. Now you may say, Chris, that piece of paper is smaller than the set. How am I going to print it? Well, let me show you. We're going to have other really fancy schmancy ways of printing in several weeks. But this is the quick and dirty method, which is important when you're trying to get a quick drawing that you want to be able to export or print somewhere where you don't really care about whether something's in scale or not. We're going to go to File, Page Setup. And we've got lots of options here of things we want to look for. But the biggest thing, we're going to look at printable area. Okay? At the moment, one printer page is the size we want. You notice I can't click on anything because that's the default. If I click on this box, choose size unavailable in printer, it will allow me to pick paper sizes that I can't print. That is actually a good thing, just not today. Okay? So one printer page is what you want to be at, which means you do not have to check the box. Okay? This says our width is 8 inches by 10.19 inches. That's a piece of 8.5 by 11 with margins set for my printer at home. Okay? Yours will look something vaguely similar if you're following along. Okay? But that is too small a piece of paper to get this to print. How can we make the paper bigger and still make it come out of the printer? Well, we can't. But we can be sneaky about it. We're going to click Printer Setup. And here are two options that are really important. Orientation. Portrait mode, landscape mode. I would recommend for what we're doing that landscape mode is probably better. That means that the paper is longer than it is tall. Okay? As opposed to portrait where it is taller than it is long. Okay? And then down below here is the important thing we're going to mess with. This is the scale. Okay? Your drawing is preset up to print in 1/4-inch scale. 1/4-inch scale of this theater will not fit on a piece of 8.5 by 11. So what do we need to set this to? I don't know. I'm going to guess. I'm going to put in 50% and I'm going to set my orientation to landscape mode. And I'm going to see what that does. I click OK. Now you'll notice my width here is 20 inches by 16. Did my paper actually grow? No. Vectorworks is still going to print 8.5 by 11, but Vectorworks is lying to itself because it's going to print it at half size, so that's the equivalent. Okay, and now I move my page around, and oh, look at that! Look, my box is big enough. Look at that! I can get the whole set on there. Cool. That's part of what I need to do. The other thing I need to do is look at this set and decide what items I need turned on. So remember, we've got our navigation palette. If you can't find it or it's turned off, I'm going to close it so we can Windows, Palettes, Navigation, and Class Options. So currently, Act 1 is turned on. We can see that they've got the eyeball. And Act 2 is turned off. So if I want Act 2, I just need to turn off Act 1 and turn on Act 2. Okay. There's some other stuff that we may not need in this. Okay. We do not need the lighting positions for what we're doing. Okay. In fact, I would rather you didn't have them turned on. I don't know if they're turned on or not because I've been mucking around in the file. So, lighting positions are called electrics. I'm going to turn the electrics off. Yay. I don't want the tension grid. What's the tension grid called? Huh. What are you called? Remember, if I don't know what something is, I can force select it and then check object info. Building, which I knew, but it's on class none. Okay, fine. I really need to update that for you guys, but for the moment, we'll just turn off class none. Yes, those are the I-beams that are in the way when you're trying to focus lights. There are also I-beams that go left to right, but they're exactly under the lighting pipes, and so unless you're trying to focus straight down on the audience, they don't affect you, so I haven't drawn them. Which, thank you for pointing out, I need to draw them at some point. Okay, so I look at this, and okay, that's my set. That works. I can kind of figure this out. This is what I need to print. And once I've gotten to here, File, Print, which I'm going to click on the moment. If I click Print, it will print to whatever printer you're attached to. I do not know where it goes if you do that in here, so don't do that in here. If you need to, do you guys all have a PDF box? You can save to a PDF and print that out. Okay, you need a printout of at least one of the two acts. If you're clever, you'll have both because you can probably get that homework assignment done in class that day if you have both. Okay. I also highly recommend those of you that are I like to write in pen type people. On the day that Vectorworks assignment 2 is due, please bring a pencil. Okay, just a hint that you'll probably be erasing, and that's okay. Okay, and then print it out. Pro tip: when I muck with my printer settings like that, as soon as I am done and I've printed out what I want to print, I go back to my page setup and I reset that to 100 because otherwise I am really confused when I print the next thing out. So you don't have to do that, but it sometimes saves you some grief later. Okay. Questions?
Print just overview or?
Yes, just a top view. Okay. You will have Vectorworks in the room with you, so if you need to look up more information about stuff, you can look it up. That's one of the nice things in here that we've got the computers, but you're going to want something to draw on with your fingers, with an actual pencil. I know that is a bizarre. No. For class, I really want you to be able to draw on paper. Feel free to bring that because I know you're more comfortable with that. That assignment is going to have to be handed in on paper anyway. So when everyone gets to that point, I'll see how I feel about people doing it that way. Because you are actually using a stylus, so it's better. Okay? Any other questions?
If you wanted to print something out that you actually wanted to be on an oversized piece of paper, but you don't own a printer like that, but Kinko's maybe does, would you just print it to a PDF at the size you want and then bring that to Kinko's?
Yes, there's a better solution for doing that, which we'll get to later on. There's more that goes with that, which is why I'm waiting till Vectorworks is second nature. By the way, I know that your Vectorworks assignment was due last week, and this isn't due till next week. I encourage you, if you have time, play with Vectorworks if you've got it at home. Or I'm always here early, and I can always be here early. And except for today, where for another reason I have to leave the room before class is done, normally I can stay after for a while, and you guys can play on Vectorworks. Play, play, play. Vectorworks needs to become your friend so that you're worried about designing in a couple weeks, not worrying about scary software. Okay, which is not that scary. Okay, are we good? I'm going to stop the recording. Where's the recording?